Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Oh, I'm so glad that you were able to get this finished despite all the frustration with GDevelop.
It was a nightmare, really. I hate it so much.
For those just tuning in, both Vader and I had a significant problem in our respective engines. Me using GameMaker Studio version 2, Vader using GDevelop. We both faced significant issues, but we were both able to finish our games nonetheless. So big
Thank
congrats for
you.
that. All right, so arrow keys and the Z key to jump. Here we go.
Yep.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about your game development background, well, and give yourself a little bit of a intro to those not familiar?
Okay, I am Excavator, also, or to the TwoCrownProductions, however you want to call me. I just make games because I like doing that. And I started game development in 2018 as a small hobby. I downloaded a free version of Liquid Fusion. It was like nothing. And from that day, I'm making games like these. Always doing solo.
Yeah,
Well,
nice. And you've always told me about how your games take place in a shared universe. Do you, like do you have a name for your shared universe?
there is no name. I just call it my universe. Although I would
Okay.
like to give it a name at some point.
Yeah, because I know that the recurring corporation name is Sikarmus.
Yeah,
All right. Uh, Okay, so you can jump on those guys. Can you jump on the helicopter guys? Yeah, you can. And they just become
yeah,
regular guys on the ground. Nice.
yeah. So fun fact, a lot of these sprites are taken from the Dippers game because, well, I had no patience to make original assets. Well, most of them. That is. A lot of these are original, and so and some of these are from the Chip Dippers. Hopefully he won't notice. I mean, it's like he will play the game.
Well, I mean, when you're working as a solo developer on a jam, then I can totally understand. I'm definitely guilty of reusing mostly programming assets in my games, but also visual assets for some of them. And yeah. Um, so you managed to get 4 levels in by the end?
Yeah, 4 levels. I planned six, but I had a lot of doctor's appointments today, and I lost a lot of time.
Well, the visual variety between each of these worlds is also really spectacular.
Yeah, I guess. I'm sorry if I'm laughing. I just witnessed. There's a bit of stream delay, but I just witnessed
Oh, yeah. I'm in the
for
water
the
world
snow
right now.
level.
Oh, okay, made it to the space world. Okay.
Ooh, there's
Uh,
a massive delay. Yeah,
okay, nice. You can even jump on the bullets.
yeah.
Uh, oh no, I landed on a spike right bottom there. Oh, and then I missed. Okay, but I can go back and get the heart. Cool. Okay. Well, I know that you were worried that it was going to be too easy, but maybe it's just too easy for you because I think this
Yeah.
is just about the right level of challenge for me.
It was like laughably easy at the beginning. I was like, how can I make this hard? And I'm like, just spam enemies, all right? Oh,
Okay, there we go.
and
To be
now
continued.
you entered limbo.
Cool. Well,
Because,
at least I was able to get through it the once, and now I can focus a little bit more on the questions. So, what was the inspiration behind this game?
um, it was mostly inspired by, well, for my Ludendare 47 game,
Hmm.
it was called Loop Wave, and it was about this simulated world, and it was thrown together because for that game I followed the philosophy of John Carmack for his story in a video game, and I'm not going to mention here because it has a few bad words. Um, I think you know it. and I just followed that philosophy for the game, and and for this game I just reuse that because well, the sprite for Kenny is easy, and I only had an idea. And the idea of just switching constantly between the roles is inspired by, well, Psycho Waluigi. I mentioned that game a lot of times. It had a level, like it was all glitchy and stuff. Like
Hmm.
for, you just change environments, and that is one of my favorite levels in that game. And it was actually really fun, so I took the inspiration from that.
Nice. I think that one of the main things that I would recommend is if you're going to be working on the character controller, or like I know that you're planning on switching to a new engine. Ah, okay,
Yeah,
right. There's the trick, there's the fake out at the end of the second level, I think, with the ice. Yeah,
yeah.
made it. But yeah, the one thing I would recommend is if the when you're building a new character controller,
Hmm.
having the sort of acceleration tuned maybe just a little bit differently because for well, okay, it's very different underwater, but um, when you're actually like on land, it just feels like you have a bit of a slow start and then the character jumps very high. Like I think you could get away with a jump that isn't quite as high, but that you can maybe build up your maximum speed just a little bit more quickly.
Hmm. I mean,
I
I
don't
just
know.
used the redevelop prefab,
Hmm.
and I think the movement, like at the beginning, is actually fine, but I just changed all of the variables during one stage of the game the game development because I was playing the other feature and I cut it out, and the movement was based on it, and yeah, it was kind of a mess.
I
A
guess
lot.
the main thing is that the because of the movement speed of the character, um, you end up sort of rushing through the level really quickly, and I think it would be helpful. Like you can accelerate. I'm trying to like get a feel for what it is that I'm trying to convey here. I think that yeah, you could actually reduce the maximum speed of the character a little, but then maybe make the acceleration speed a little faster.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
character controllers are one of those things that are like fundamentally not too difficult to build in the first place, but really hard to tune to a level that is
Hmm.
feels just right, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I really didn't change a lot of the things, like the acceleration, deceleration, and the acceleration and acceleration were at the same number. Oh, you just went through a cannonball. What?
Yeah, doesn't seem to be hurting me.
I don't, I don't know how that happened. Interesting. The only thing I changed was the maximum speed and jump sustain time.
Hmm.
Maximum speed, I just multiplied it by the original. It was 200, and I changed it to 400. And 200 was way too slow, like snail space.
Hmm.
So I had to change it. Actually, I'm wrong. It's at 450 now because now I just wanted to get through the levels quickly.
Hmm.
I didn't really have a lot of patience. I had to do all this quickly.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's the main reason that I'm saying that you can slow the character down is because there's a lot of like sudden things like the hazards you encounter um you sort of like run into them and it feels like I don't know. Can you play through the game nonstop, like without letting go, or do you like move a little bit and then look ahead and then keep going and then?
I just played by by going non-stop. I mean, I barely stop, but that's because I'm the developer. I mean,
Right. And I think what you need to do is, well, first of all, the fact that the viewport is square. That's also part of the reason that it's hard to see like what's ahead of you in terms of the upcoming obstacles. Is that just the sort of default mode with GDevelop?
that's the default mode. The camera movement I made that myself, but the resolution, all that, that's redevelop.
Right. Okay, so if you had this exact same engine, but it was a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, and the other thing is the camera should pull ahead of the character so you can see more of what's in front of you and not worry as much about what's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a few small things that can definitely be tweaked to make it a little easier to anticipate the challenges that are coming.
Yeah.
But when you do switch over to Godot, I would love to see uh, how stuff ends up going for you there, because I feel like a lot of the feedback that I could give would be more helpful when you're actually like ready to commit to a new engine.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know if you explained. You know how much I hate redevelop.
At this point, yeah, they have
Ah,
not they've done they've done a lot to rightfully earn your frustration. So I'm
I
sorry that
mean,
that's the case.
it's not a bad engine. It's absolutely fantastic for newcomers to the game development scene.
Hmm.
But I don't, I don't like how it was hyped up to be by all these game development channels saying like, "Oh, it's the second coming of Jesus Christ. You know, this is going to defeat the corporate 15 Fusion Construct 3, and this is going to beat all of them." No, it's not. It's unoptimized. They add extensions like the boomerang. Like why? I couldn't even get that to work. I just made a boomerang myself.
Hmm.
Like why do I need it? Instead of optimizing, they add useless stuff like this, like that, and
Well,
it
yeah,
just
I guess it's one of those things where it's easier to just add new features than it is to properly finish any of them. Ahem, Unity.
yeah. And not to mention the countless of glitches. I mean, and you went through the cannibal again. Why is that even happening? Okay. The my main problem with GDevelop is that it's way too unoptimized,
Hmm.
and if you make more than 5 levels, it like starts to lag like a lot. It,
Yeah.
I mean, you can still make a game in it. This is, I mean, and it's great for absolute beginners. But if you want to make something bigger than this, for example,
Hmm.
no, I recommend you click that, double click that uninstall button.
All right. Well, yeah. If you're switching over to Godot, how have you been finding that so far? Would you recommend that others check it out?
Yeah, GD script, really, really good. It's very easy to learn. It's not like your JavaScript or Java C sharp. No, it's not like that. It's simple and readable. I mean, even I could understand it. If I can understand it, you can understand it. Let's be honest. And and yeah, I recommend switching to it, but you shouldn't go just blind into it and expect success immediately. Like you might from redevelop. It takes a lot of time to learn. I still don't know anything. I mean, the ground is babysitting me pretty much, and I have every reason to thank him for that. He's an absolutely great person,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
Godot
absolutely.
community, yeah, and the Godot community, like really, really friendly. I mean, you probably know because every time someone comes on to developer interviews and cool retool, whenever someone mentions that they're working Godot, they're like, "Oh, Square, hit me up on Discord. If you need help, just call me. I'll help you out." I mean, you can't get more friendlier than that.
Absolutely. I'm really glad that that's been your experience with the GDevelop community. Sorry, the the Godot community. But for that matter, what is the GDevelop community like?
It is actually really, really friendly and does help you. I mean, there's a GDevelop Discord server. All the mods work day and night. I mean, you post a problem and they're coming, swoop in, and just help you immediately, which is absolutely fantastic. But that
Nice.
doesn't fix optimizations. Uh,
Right. No, it's true. It's the thing with any tool, right? You always have to see, you have to weigh like what you can build, how easy is it for you to use? What is the support level like? The features of the engine itself are going to dictate your like they are going to be a limit on your own artistic vision. So
yeah,
if a tool is getting in the way of what you're trying to achieve, then it's not good to sort of stick with it. So I'm glad that you've been moving over to Godot. Um, let's talk a little bit about how it is that you actually built the levels for the game. What was your um, process for making the levels?
um, I didn't really have a process. I just made random platforms and made it out from there. Or I just took some hints from psychology and I just made some level and stuff. And I also got inspired by a few other Mario or Nintendo fan games, Mario Forever,
Hmm.
something like that. I mean, those I grew up with those games, so the level design. Uh, what? Okay, never mind. And I
All right.
get inspired by those.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the moments where there's some really great moments of flow where you like bounce off an enemy and then you bounce off another enemy. Like this jump that I'm going to be coming up right here with the ice that, and then there's the braking platform right near the end. That one is really hard because it's the way that you have the ice implemented. Like even if I'm in the air, I still have the ice velocity, so that's kind of unusual to me.
Because fun trivia, the ice is not what causes the slidey effect. There is a invisible trigger that
Yeah.
you're in right now, and that causes the sliding. So if I placed the same trigger over a sand, for example, you will still get the slidey movement.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
and
would have
like that's
made
just
it
the
jump.
easier way to implement it than to actually sort of try to build it in
Yeah, yeah,
from scratch, I guess. I have
yeah.
no idea how I made that jump.
Because I know exactly why. Because the game detects if you are falling and hit an enemy, you are still going to kill him. So if you hit the enemy with your head, but you are still falling, you are going to kill him, and you're going to bounce off.
Mhm.
There is no like hitbox There's no invisible hitbox beneath you.
So let's see. Okay, now you do take damage from these cannons, but like maybe you don't take damage from the cannons if you're in the fall state in the water level.
That was in the code, but I removed it for this level specifically, so I don't know
Okay.
what happened.
Because I know that if I'm falling, I don't take damage from the cannons, but when I jumped into the cannonball, I did take damage from it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Huh.
okay. Anyway, it's a small thing, but yeah, I would definitely look forward to seeing what you build with Godot. Hopefully, the engine ends up treating you better, and you can always use it as an exercise to try to rebuild one of these projects. If this
Oh,
is if
certainly.
this or the other game that you're making for Chip Dippers ends up being the your sort of final send off with the engine, I think you can be proud of that.
Yeah, once I'm done with the Trip Divers game, then adios, G-Develop.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the call tonight. I think we're going to move on to the next project here, but yeah, I'm sure I look forward to seeing, if you want to share the Chip Dippers with me, Chip Dippers game with me. Otherwise, whatever jam project that you end up working on
I will.
next.
I will actually once I finish the first boss, and I'll share it with you guys.
All right, sounds good. Well,
Yeah,
have a good night, and thanks for
you too.
joining me on the call.
Yeah, goodbye.
All right, bye bye.